Hey guys, well, week one of finals is finally over, and now we turn to the semi-finals. But before we do, let's look at my predictions. And without further ado, I got all my predictions right this week. Yeah! Obviously, I couldn't get the 9 game rounds, but luckily, being a 4 game round was a bit easier to get my predictions right. And lo and behold, I did. Obviously, pretty close with North Melbourne. I was only one off, but did not expect this game to go the way it did. I did not expect North Melbourne to not break 50, but then at the same time, not let Hawthorn score a goal whatsoever. That was definitely a surprise. And Hawthorn definitely put up a strong fight. They just unfortunately couldn't bloody score. Regardless, my prediction of Carlton having a narrow win against West Coast was they absolutely smoked them. Then we had Brisbane and Melbourne. Now, this game sort of went how I thought. It pretty much went the same way it went earlier this year, where Melbourne got an early lead and then Brisbane just steamrolled them in the end. We are probably heading to another Brisbane North Melbourne grand final, aren't we? And you really want this competition to evolve. But regardless, following them, we have Adelaide, who I think made a bit easier work of St Kilda than I thought. Like, St Kilda didn't kick a goal for like the third quarter or something. Yeah, definitely. Adelaide, I think, definitely looking like they're lifting for their one last finals run. But regardless, let's talk about the semi-finals, and we start on the Saturday 10. Well, actually, they're both on the Saturday, but yeah, sorry, Saturday 1:05 at Icon Park, Melbourne versus Adelaide. So last time these two teams met, I believe, was that game Melbourne won because it was that really close game that Adelaide just couldn't kick a goal to save their lives last year. I remember that one. But interestingly, the odds are for Melbourne to win this game, which no, I'm not sure. Like, I feel like every year one team always goes out in straight sets, and for me, I'm feeling more Melbourne than Hawthorn, just because I know they were really unprofessional in their game against Brisbane. Like, they gave a lot of free kicks and were starting fights and stuff. Meanwhile, Adelaide looked really solid in their dismantling of St Kilda, and I also think Melbourne has benefited from a really easy fixture. See my previous short that showed that they had the easiest fixture in the competition. So they could be very much a Hawthorn in last year, this situation, getting an easy fixture and then getting knocked out when they face the tough teams in finals. But as I say, it does look like I think it's probably going to be a close game, but I'm just feeling that Adelaide has that bit more professionalism. They're going to lift that a little bit more. And if I had to pick one of these two teams to go in straight sets, it's unfortunately Melbourne. So I'm going to say Adelaide wins by 9. Anyway, let's jump to Saturday night this time, still at Icon Park, 7:15 for Carlton versus Hawthorn. Once again, my prediction seems to be the opposite here because the odds are on Carlton, and I'm definitely thinking Hawthorn is probably the stronger team. Like, I love Carlton, and I would love them to win. I'm a big Poppy Schultz fan, obviously, being poor at Adelaide. But yeah, the way Hawthorn played against North Melbourne, they were brutal. They basically were on the ball like a hawk, you might say. North really struggled to get the ball down their forward end, and the only reason they did was because they were North Melbourne. Carlton is not North Melbourne. I think if Hawthorn plays like what they did against North Melbourne, I don't think Carlton stands a chance. Obviously, I know that it's possible that Anya McDonald isn't going to be in the team to kick goals, but they'll find people who can kick goals, and they'll only need to kick like 3 goals because I don't think Carlton will score at all if that defence continues to hold up. And this is this reason that I just think the Hawks will win because I just don't think Carlton can beat, because the Hawks' defence this year has been next to incredible outside of a few games, aka North Melbourne and yours truly. But yeah, so this reason I'm going to say the Hawks by 15. So, just to recap my semi-finals predictions, I have Adelaide to win by 9 and to take the D's out in straight sets. Meanwhile, I have the Hawks to bounce back with probably a mucky win against Carlton with very few points scored, I suspect. And both to enter into prelims against North Melbourne and Brisbane respectively. But we'll get to that next time. So I will see you guys all later.